Welcome back to Fist Entertainment for my last review of the night. And again, I go for original artwork on this because this is another Arrow video release. I'm going with this because I simply don't like the new artwork on this movie. New artwork, in my opinion, sucks on this release. And so I did flip it over to the original artwork, which I think is so much better looking. And I'm talking about, make sure I get the right date on this. This one you might actually be able to read. It sure isn't. Yeah, there we go. Of course, I'm talking about 1990s Flatliners. Okay. Flatliners is a very unique horror film. I remember seeing this a very long time ago on VHS, back when I was a teenager. I remember being pretty haunted by this movie because I couldn't understand the film at the time. Now, as a not ancient but somewhat old man, I definitely can appreciate this film for what it is trying to tell, and so on. Flatliners stars Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, William Baldwin, Oliver Platt, and Kevin Bacon. So very much an all-star cast on this. It's directed by the late Joe Schumacher. He's responsible for Batman Forever, The Lost Boys, and of course a bunch of other films. Also Batman and Robin, of course, but no one wants to talk about that movie. Alright, well, Flatliners to me is one of those films that makes you think a little bit. It makes you wonder what the consequences for playing God really are. Alright, well, let's get theatrical with this one a little bit, because I've been missing doing that, and I really want to start getting theatrical, because what's coming after, I see about a day or two after this, it's going to be some fun stuff. So, let's get a little theatrical. Flatliners. Some lines shouldn't be crossed. Known for his electric filmography and for helping to launch the careers of several young Hollywood stars of the 80s and 90s, Joe Schumacher, The Lost Boys, tackles the question, the exponential question that at one time or another haunts us all. What awaits us after we die? At the University Hospital School of Medicine, 5 ambitious students subject themselves to a daring experiment to temporarily induce their own deaths, hoping to glimpse the afterlife before being brought back from the dead, but is a competition within the group ensuffers in their visions of the world beyond increasingly bleeds into their working lives. They're about to learn that the greatest threat comes not from the spirit world, but from the long suppressed secrets of their own pasts. Okay, that was actually pretty good. What this is basically applying is that with each of these students, college students, when they flatlined, and the competition is basically crazy. Let's address the competition. The original experiment subject was obviously one that started all this, which is Kiefer Sutherland's character. He went under for and was dead for about a minute and a half, possibly 2 minutes. And then everybody starts making wagers, starts gambling with how long they can be dead. And which each of these characters are dead for 30 seconds to a minute longer than the previous. And that's where the competition starts coming in. Crazy, right? Well, their own guilt, their own conscience comes back to bite them. Things that they, have struggled with their entire lives and then kind of kept to themselves, kind of comes back in visions from beyond the grave and kind of haunts them. And of course, the one that probably gets haunted the most is Kiefer Sutherland's character, who was a very, very, very evil kid. And basically, him and some other kids chased this outcast, and he went into a tree and he fell to his death. And he kept it a secret his entire life. And he has been, after dying and coming back from the dead, the vengeful spirit of this departed kid that he wrongfully basically covered up, accidentally murdering in his youth, is trying to get revenge. And he has to make peace with his own soul to, finally be rid of his guilt and of this haunting spirit. So yeah, that's what I meant by, you would think right to apply this film, this is not really a horror film, but when you go ahead and bring the aspects of ghost haunting our main character for being killed by the main character when the character was a reckless little kid, definitely kind of makes it a horror film. And this is a very, very interesting horror film, to say the least. It's definitely a fun watch. I watched it twice, and I gotta tell you, I definitely will be eager to watch it several more times throughout my life. It's definitely a very, very fun little 1990s gem. Alright. Well, let's talk about the quality. It has a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. This is definitely designed to be a Dolby Vision release. It's like all the Arrow 4K releases. They're really Dolby Vision heavy, all of them. There's not really any that are really HDR10 heavy. I think there's like one, but it's not a horror film, so we will not be reviewing it this month per se. That one I think I would say is more HDR. But this is definitely more of a Dolby Vision. But the HDR10 definitely does its best of trying to make up for your setup not having Dolby Vision. Unfortunately, mine doesn't. You have the option of 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio or a DTS HD Master Audio version of the original 2-channel Dolby Surround Pro Logic sound presentation of the film in 1990. I have watched it with both. I would say both are equally as interesting to listen to. I prefer the 5.1 DTS HDMA sound presentation. They are both very, very effect heavy, I would say. But keep in mind, this is a film made in 1990, so don't expect like modern day extravaganza freaking effects. But for a 1990 movie, it has some pretty good effects on it. And I would say it's generic, but I can't say that it is generic, because there are points in the film where there's a lot of dramatic effects going around. When I use the word generic on this, I mean that the effects are so evenly balanced with one another that there's not really anything that stands out, and the sound's just, there. That's what I mean by generic. And that's definitely not the case here. I would say the sound's not is not as extraordinary as I would like it to be, but it's certainly not generic. So this is a step up from, say, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And well, this did spawn a remake, and I never saw the remake, and I do not have any intention of seeing a remake. Because obviously the remake, it plays on this whole wokeness crap that we've been having going on. Now, can I say that the remake of Flatliners is avoid an old cost movie? No, because it's probably a good film. I just have no interest in seeing it. Because there are some films that should not be touched. That was one of them. Yeah, this is one of the films that should never have been remade. But you know how Hollywood is. They gotta remake everything. Flatliners from 1990 is and still is, and will ever be pretty much a perfect movie. Well, that's all there is to really say about Flatliners. I hope you enjoyed tonight's reviews, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more. And hopefully you guys are ready. So until then, haven't seen Flatliners? Check it out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.